Welcome back, everyone, to episode 4 already of Advice from a Call Center Geek. The Geek is a podcast where we focus on all things contact center, call center, operations, technology, confrontation, hiring, culture, anything that has to do with your contact center or is about your call center. We're going to try to help you with, to give you some real actionable items that you can take back to improve the overall running of your call center, and also hopefully the bottom line here is we want to really try to improve the customer experience. So, Merry Christmas. As I am recording this, it is Christmas morning, about 10:30 a.m. here on the East Coast. We've woke up about 6:30, opened presents with the kids. They're starting to play with their Nintendo Switch and some of the other stuff that Santa brought. So I figured it'd be a nice time to kind of come down here and record what I think is a podcast that's a little bit light, probably perfect for Christmas Day, and that's I call it the games we play, and we want to talk about some of the motivational games and some of the fun things that we do in the call center. I know that this is one of the biggest topics, and I get a lot of emails on it, and we've had a blog post on this where I show some actual pictures of some of the games, and it's been very well received. So hopefully this will help you take some things back and give you some things to do to improve the fun of your call center. So I'm going to try to do this as best as I can here. Again, I said that we do have a blog post. It's on expediausa.com. On our blog there is the games we play blog post, but that actually has some pictures of some of the things that I'm going to explain. So through this voice media, I'm going to try to explain it as well as I can. But if you want to see some pictures of that, you can head over there as well. So let's kick this off. So as all of you know, working in the industry, the call center customer service work, it's hard. Representatives on the phone, they can take a lot of abuse, whether it's a sales center, whether it's a customer service center. So I believe from a culture standpoint that the environment must be one of comfort. It must be one of fun. I think it should be a little bit loud and there should be high fives. I know that that's a culture thing for us. But as a contact center manager, your job is to make sure that your reps are at their peak level to satisfy the customer's needs, right? And one of the ways that we can do that is to have some fun in the call center, to make it a culture where it's not somewhere that people are dreading to come to work, but a place that they can come and have a little bit of fun and enjoy what they're doing. God forbid we actually enjoy what we do. So, one of the things that I think can be really cool is, the contact center environment, it's a place that you can do some things you can't do in other departments, right? So you can't really high five and be super loud in accounting, or maybe in your QA area, those types of areas. But on the call center floor, I think you can, and I think you should. And I always say, show me a quiet contact center floor. I'll show you one that I believe has higher turnover, lower quality, and more importantly, it reflects ones that associates, they're just not enjoying themselves. And if they can't enjoy themselves, it's going to be very hard for them to satisfy, any type of customer need. So let's talk about some of the reps, right? You all have those reps that need a little bit more focus, that they come in, they may be quote unquote sick every single day. They start to think about the job, and the dreading the rough parts of the job. So what our job is, through a motivation and through having fun, is to take their mind off of the difficult parts of the job and transfer it into the fun pieces of it, right? So that they can get through those difficult times because they know that there's some fun or something that they enjoy. And they also show that management cares, right? That there's a piece of management that understands the pains that they're going through, because it can be very difficult. And they're trying to give them an enjoyable environment. So the first thing that goes with this is, look at your center. Is it boring? Like, when I say boring, the decor, right? Is it just a bunch of call center booths with beige walls, and maybe you have like a sign on the wall that says the customer is first, something like that? That's a big piece of it, right? Every single day these reps are coming in, the first thing they see is how things are set up, what colors are out there, and that's going to start to set the mood every single day of how. And we're going to do a full podcast on the first 30 minutes and how we should be controlling the first 30 minutes of the shift. But even before that 30 minutes, they walk in, the tone is set by kind of the decor and kind of how things are looking. So not to say that, you need to revamp and repaint everything, but, things like having balloons up, making sure that if it's somebody's birthday, they have something special there, that your reps and your your supervisors are prepared for the game for the day, and there's things already set up at their station. So and again, it takes away, you want to always take away from the boredom, take away from the hard parts of the job, and transfer onto the cool things, the fun things, the things that you are controlling in a positive way. The other thing that's kind of cool that you can do is do, and I like to facilitate team motivations. So have a team crest or team names or mascot pictures, things like that the associates can either draw or they can kind of come up with to make sure that their area is their own. And you can do a lot of fun things, not just with individual games, but also with team games. The other thing is I love to have quotes and things up on the wall. I love to hear quotes from actual calls that the reps have been able to say. We have a section in our intranet and kind of our like a little employee newsletter that say and it's called the things customers say, and that could be something goofy or it could be something really good that we got a really good compliment or some type of quote that came out. So we like to kind of post those on the wall, especially all the really positive things that happen on calls. Okay, now having said that, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this, why you guys probably are listening if you're still listening, but it's the games. Right, so we have a ton of games that can be played in the call center, literally enough for a full book, which is kind of a hint, something that you should be doing. Your associates, your supervisors are going to come up with the best games, especially the associates. So make sure that when you do play a game that it's documented, that you put it into a book that all supervisors, past, present, and future, can go look at, can utilize, and kind of repurpose. So, games that start one way end up evolving in totally different ways if you have them kind of set up and you have them documented. So, the other thing that you have to think of when you're doing this is, are you more of a team environment? Are you looking for team versus team games? Are you looking for individuals? Is it more of a sales individual goal? I think that the daily games, they keep your associates focused on their daily job, having fun. I think you can do individuals and teams together. Love the team concept though. But we'll get into that. All right, let's talk about some of these specific games. And again, I would love to hear in the comments section or shoot me an email at tlaird@expedia.net some of the games that you guys play too, and I can add to my list. But these are all random. These are all things that we do that we're doing pretty much on a daily basis. So the first one, and some of these, again, they're pretty easy, and everybody kind of gets it, and some of them are a little bit more intense. So the first one is bingo. Right? Set up a board that includes, some KPIs that can be measured during the day, whether that's sales, whether that's service, whether that's a QA score that they need to hit. Obviously, each time an associate hits one of those goals, they mark it off the sheet. Once they get enough, bingo gets yelled out, and you have your winner. We'll talk about prizes at the end. Prizes don't have to be crazy, but that's just kind of a fun game that we do. Poker, right? So each time a rep hits a KPI, gets a sale, they get a card. Best poker hand wins at the end of the shift, or we like to sometimes even do this as a week-long motivation and do it. Some reps will have 20 or 30 cards, but we'll still say best poker hand out of 5. So it kind of keeps everybody in it because you're getting so many cards. It's a little bit of fun. And then we have we call it pass the ... which is basically just something that we'll do on an individual or team. I guess we have done it on the team scale as well, where basically any sale, any KPI, anything that you want to measure, as those go out, we normally write down on a piece of paper the time. So let's say, we're going to start this motivation at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we write down on a piece of paper 11:37 a.m. and 1:58 p.m. and 2:28. And then we pass whatever it is. So if it's during the summer, we might pass a beach ball. If it's wintertime or Christmas time, we might pass a stuffed Santa. And whoever's holding that at that time, the 11:37, will win the prize. Easy stuff, but stuff where they could throw it, and it gets kind of the competitive juices going, and you're not really sure when it's going to end. We are really big on sports games, and it's more silly, stupid sports games. So, one of the big motivations doesn't just have to be, monetary, lottery tickets, swag. It can be off the phone time, which I think is a big deal, right? Extra break or just even playing the game off the phone. So we do a lot of things like, we have a ton of Nerf hoops where we will set up different points, depending on how far back you are. One of the things that I love, which is kind of silly, is I just set up a garbage can and I have like a picture or some type of cardboard where you can ramp into it. And we'll play rollerball, right? So the reps or hall ball will stand at the end of the call center. We actually have to roll it, and if they can roll it up the ramp into it, little stupid things like that are fun, that show a little bit of imagination, and then let the reps kind of add to it, as they have some ideas. And it gets them up out of their seat, gets them to be able to stretch, gets them kind of refocused to get back onto it. One of the other things that we like to do on the team level, not so much team versus team, but each team can play hangman. So a supervisor sets the board up with a word or a phrase. The rep gets rewarded if they guess the word. But based on their KPIs, that's how they get their choices. One of the more unique things, and something that I think you should do, is play what we call the human board game. So we have carpet squares on our floor. So they're like the 12-inch by 12-inch, 1 foot by 1 foot squares all throughout our call center. So what we do, and we do this probably once a month, is in the different call centers, we set up literally a human board game where we will go to certain squares and say, go back 3, or like, sorry, switch with one of the other people that are playing, lose a turn. Anything that you can think of, move up 5, anything you can think of that's part of a game, like a sorry or like a Monopoly, we do that. And then we'll have different icons, whether it's a stuffed animal, whether it's a horse, whether it's some type of icon or some type of thing that each team can be. And then we have one of those big like rubber die or foam die. So anytime that a rep on that team gets a specific KPI, they go up, they literally roll it, and they move their piece, their stuffed animal or whatever it is, down the board. And we circle it all throughout the call center so that you're moving as the dice go. So again, it's literally a human board game, which the reps really enjoy. And we'll do that too, like around the Kentucky Derby time. Everybody has that, where we set up horse races, have 4 or 5 teams going, and then literally we're rolling the dice and moving them down the quote unquote horse track. And then, we'll have our winners off that. So kind of fun with that, but I love the human board game. There's a lot you can do with that. And again, that's a lot where the reps can really add to it. One of the bigger motivations we do, and because we do actually give a lot of money away with it. And so this is more of a holiday game. So, maybe right before Labor Day or Christmas Eve or one of those where the reps may have a day off the next day, is we'll play Battleship. And this you almost need, rules for and see the rule book. But basically, each rep gets an allotment of chocolate coins, and they then take their team and they say where they want to have their battleship, and then everybody else guesses their battleship. And again, if they hit the battleship, they lose some of their coins. They can gain coins back by different places on the board that have special prizes on them. But it's a pretty cool game. I'm not explaining it very well, but email me if you're interested, and I can send you kind of the one pager on it. It's a lot of fun. Reps really enjoy it. It's probably their favorite game that they play, and we give away some pretty good money. Those are one of our bigger games. Again, I talked about next thing on my list here for my notes is I do have rollerball, and I kind of touched on that earlier. But we kind of use your imagination, set up a garbage can. We do this with cornhole boards, right? You can bring cornhole boards and have them try to roll into the hole there with the smaller ball. Make sure that you have a little bit to cover that ledge, right, so that they can get the ball up there. So we've done things where we've done the red solo cup with the pyramid, right? So the stacking game. So we try to, if a rep gets a KPI or an hour-long motivation, they get the bonus of trying to go up and either stack and unstack the cups. And that's been a lot of fun. We actually have it on if you go to the Expedia Facebook page, we have a rep who has successfully done that and was really good at it. So it's kind of cool. And then little games to just kind of keep reps off, like I Spy, which is kind of hangmanish, right? Each rep gets a chance to guess if they if they spy something. And then, again, going on that giant board game, we like Sorry, and the reps seem to really like Sorry. So our human board game sometimes just takes on the place of Sorry, and we use those exact rules. But those are some of the games, and I hope that's a little bit helpful, and you get an idea of some of the things that we do. We probably have a book of about 150 games. It's crazy, and I can give you guys, if you just want to post in the comment section with an email address or some way of getting a hold of you, I'm more than happy to give you, some more of these. I'll probably do another podcast. We might even do once a month or once every 2 months a podcast on more games. And I can bring some of the supervisors in and we can talk about that more. But let's talk about, to end this here in the last couple minutes is, what should the prizes be? I can tell you that they don't have to be much, right? I think, one of the main things that we've seen is giving extra break time. If you actually add that and do the math, it benefits the rep, and it's probably the cheapest thing for the company, maybe gives you the most bang for your buck. But, everything from candy to lottery tickets, these reps will sometimes fight over an Expedia pencil or pen, cookies, free soda. It really depends on what your culture is, what you want to do. I would say that, we normally do bigger motivations for holidays. And then, our daily motivations that we have, we're just doing something to kind of have some fun, as the reps, kind of get through the day. I think you should do this every day. I don't think that there should ever be a day when you should not have a motivation on a team. I think it's that important, whether it's just for 5 minutes of break time, but something that keeps the supervisor kind of in control. It constantly gives the supervisor something to interact with the reps, beyond just the, hey, you're doing this wrong or you're doing this wrong. So I think that there's a lot to it, just more than even just the motivational factor. So having just said that, one last little tip here too is we sometimes have supervisors that think some of the things that we do are stupid, right? And we try to squash that as quick as we possibly can from a culture standpoint. But it's really important that your middle management buys into the culture of the games, that they buy into the specific game of the day, even if they don't really like it. We need energetic supervision. If you have somebody there that's just lethargic, that's going through it, it's not only going to take away from the game, but it's going to make the game detrimental to what they're trying to do. So again, middle management's huge, and we have lots of podcasts on motivating your middle management, training your middle management, educating them, some of the exact things that they should do for the first 30 minutes, and then during the shift, blah blah blah. We'll get into that, but I guess that's long enough here. We're at about the 18-19 minute mark. Again, for those of you who are listening to this, either the day of post or even the day after, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I am off to San Diego starting tomorrow, so I may actually try to get another podcast out during the week. But if not, give me a couple days. Right after the first of the year, we'll have something out. We were supposed to have this on management and management education, but I thought that this, being the holiday, would be a little bit more fun. So again, thank you again for listening to The Geek. Please subscribe if you enjoy this. Listen to some of the other podcasts that we have out. I'd love to hear some comments on what people think as well. So again, thank you for listening to the Call Center Geek, and I'll talk to you here in hopefully a week or so.